Am I live? Oh, there we are. Hey y'all, welcome to the Broken Buddha YouTube channel. Sifu Joseph Singh here. As you can see, I'm trying out a new computer to see, or a new camera to see how it looks, to see if I can cover more space and material. Let's move it down a little bit. No viewers yet, so I can play around a little. I think that's back here. It's my best bet. Okay, let me see this. Yeah, this looks better. Up a little bit. How much further can I go up here? Okay. So you can see the messiness of my place a little more, but it's okay. You can also see more of me, and you'll be able to see more of the sequences that I usually run from here. I don't usually go past here, so that'll be good. And you'll be able to see everything. Okay, so let me get right into this. I'm going to pull up a chair and come right back. Okay. So today we're going to talk about the chest pung in Kung Fu and or in martial arts in general. And so let's go ahead and just jump right into the topic. All right. So when we're talking about the chest pung, what I'm referring to is whether you're doing, the whole hugging the tree stance and you should be a little bit concave, your chest should pull in a little bit. And just like everything else in Qigong, in meditation, and Kung Fu, it just takes time to be able to develop these reflexes. Now, when I say chest pung, right, you should be able to see my chest come in. Hold up. Without my shoulders moving much. Hold on, I was actually practicing this before I came here. I'll have my shirt off when I do this a little bit later, but the idea is not just to pung your chest. You're also pushing your shoulder blades a little bit forward, just slightly. And the purpose of this, it serves three purposes. One, you're going to use your sternum like a spring to open your arms and add into that impact for certain strikes, which you'll see some immediately when I do my Bagua Zhang. You're also using it if you're doing a full reverse breath where you're compressing everything for the in-breath and compressing everything for the out-breath. You're building your blood pressure back here and then launching it out to get that extra projection force into your limb and actually shoving or forcing blood pressure into your limb for impact, whether it's finger striking, punching, whatever. So having that pung and that little bit of arc in your chest is going to help with that. What else? And it's also, when I say you're going to have your shoulders slightly forward in the chest pung, let me see if I can do it. I'm trying to get a good angle where you can see the chest pung. But anyway, also the reason when your shoulders are slightly forward, you're going to be pressing your clavicle or your shoulder blade against your, not your clavicle, your shoulder blade against your back a little bit, because when you impact somebody, you don't want to have this happen. See how my shoulder blade is moving back, right? Or if you're punching somebody, you don't want your shoulder to have any impact force. So you want your shoulders slightly forward. Now, obviously, the pung is just talking about the concaveness of the chest, the slight bow in. But again, as you're bowing in, you'll feel your shoulder blades push against your back, and you want to keep them there. So, if you're throwing, even if you're doing boxing and you want to throw a punch, you don't want your shoulder blades, you don't want to have your chest up like this throwing a punch, because there will be give in your shoulder a little bit. Whereas when you're slouched over a little bit and you have that concave in your chest, when you hit, you're going to have full impact. And if your shoulder blade is pressed against your back slightly, it's not going to go back, right? So again, it serves three purposes, and that's going to be using your sternum as a springboard to project outward or forward with your strike, depending on what you're doing. It's going to help project the blood into your arms to get more impact and weight into your arms for the impact. And again, you'll have your shoulder blades pressed against your back so that you don't have any pushback, right? So those are the three reasons that we're learning the chest pung tonight. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started with my Bagua Zhang, and I will be explaining both during the sequence and a little bit beforehand what the different purposes of the pung in that sequence are. And just so you know, because I've never used this camera before, this is my right, this is my left. It looks like the mirroring issue has kind of gone away, but if you're following along, just know that, left, right. All right. So, and actually, I'll take my shirt off for this, because you got to see what my chest is doing and my back. All right. So in the Bagua Zhang, right, even from like that very first moment. So, I mean, you'll see me do the whole thing in a second, but when you step off, breathe in, breathe out. You're going to come here, right? You let your shoulders come together. And this is when I say the chest palm. Let me see if I can do it properly. That's the stomach. Let me see. So it's complex to be able to pull your chest in. I can't really get a good, you want your shoulders, slightly forward, and then it's easier to pull your chest in. See it? See how my chest is going in there? That's probably the best way to show it. And I'm just bowing my chest in. And again, it's going to add to the impact. And then for reverse breathing, if you're doing the toothpaste style where you're breathing in, squeezing, breathing out, squeezing, you're going to take that blood pressure to your back and it's going to launch into your arms. And I mentioned all the other stuff before. But in that very first movement, when you boom, boom, you're coming out of a Peng. You come here, separate the limbs, go into a Peng, come out of a Peng, and you're shooting your limbs forward with that and getting some projection force out of your sternum. Same thing with that first turn. You come here, you're in a Peng. As you twist around, you're releasing the Peng. All right. So that covers that one. So I'll cover as many as I can. Same thing with, so the first movement, as you come around, you're here. I always Peng and then release. Second movement is when you chop around. When I chop through into my second movement of Bagua, I will Peng into it and then come out of it. Just like before when I said when you're looping around here, you should be in a full chest Peng and then releasing around to help your sternum push your arm out into that motion for Bagua Zhang. All right. What else? Movement 3, break the arm. Come around here. When you're here, you're going to obviously have a chest Peng springing out. And again, this is going to help your arm while you're rooting launch out. Same thing with the blocking arm. Boom. And it kind of, because you're pulling your chest in when you release, it does this boom motion, right? And it's part of your Gen Shock power or Shi Fei Jing, Shen Fei Jing, both technically speaking. But yeah. All right. So, all right. What other movements are relevant to this? When you see me when I come out into this one, boom, and I go here, Peng, release, Peng, release, Peng, release. I'm trying to cover as many as I can. Same thing with this one. When I chop the strike down, Peng, release in 2 steps, boom, boom. Turning around, Peng, release. So pretty much any time that you're doing any type of turning, especially in the neijia styles, it's not so much with like the Hakka styles, Wing Chun. You'll see it. That's not true. You'll see it in the. You'll see it in Southern Mantis a little bit. You'll see it in White Crane for sure. With Wing Chun, you kind of stay in a Peng because you want your shoulder blades pressed against your back the whole time because you want that real firm impact. You don't want your shoulder blades to move back when you make that impact, as I mentioned before. Yeah, but let's just go ahead right through it. There you go. I'm going to throw this back on because it's not really necessary. You can't really see the Peng anymore. Like I thought you'd be able to see it more so with this off. It's blazing hot here, so to be honest with you, it's probably going to come off later again. All right. So here we go. I'm going to jump right into the Bagua Zhang. I've already explained the Peng the best that I can. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. So I'll keep explaining it as I'm going through this sequence, all right? So Peng, release. Peng, release. Step. Peng, release. 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 This is a tricky one. Peng, you're opening your whole body. So now your groin and your shoulder should be closed. Peng and release. And you're using your whole body to open up into that strike. Peng, release. Again, Peng, release. Peng, open up your whole body and release the Peng right here. Peng, release. All right. Peng, release. Same thing, Peng, release. Peng, release. Peng, release. Peng, release. Boom. Boom. I missed a couple there, but I already covered them in the last motion, so you should already have them down. I'll slow it down this time so I don't mess up any. Chop the strike down. Peng, release in 2 steps. Strike, strike, boom. That should have been a Peng and release. Peng, 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 release. Same thing other side. Bam, Peng, release, Peng, release, Peng, release, Peng, release. Whew. I messed something up there doing the tutorial. I'll do it again. I shouldn't be on this side twice, but I'll go again. Okay, where was I? Boom, Peng, release, Peng, release, Peng, release, Peng, release. Bam, Peng, release, Peng, release, Peng, release, Peng, release. Okay, Peng, release, Peng, release your whole body, Peng, release. Peng, release, Peng, release, Peng, release. Peng, release. Okay, so as you can see with the neijia styles, especially Bagua, Taiji, Xingyi, you're going to get a lot more of that Peng and release, as opposed to, the more, not that you can't do it in your more basic Japanese styles, you would just like Peng on your way in, strike on your way out. When you release the Peng, you would either just drop your blood pressure to stabilize the base, or you would push it into your arms and squeeze out here, and that way you're pushing more blood pressure into your arm for your strike. Okay. When I do Bagua at the end, I'm not doing a tutorial because that was rough. I never had to actually explain it all like that before. Moving right along to Southern Mantis. Yeah, no, that's right. Uh-oh. I'm sweating already? Good grief, where's my mop at? I don't want to get all slippery and sticky floor. It causes all kinds of problems. Most people watching this are probably going to be like, what's a Peng? Well, that's why we're here. All right. So I'll go right into Gwut Gung. So here, anytime you're doing mantis, you always start in chest pong when it comes to Southern mantis, whether it's one of the Qigong forms or one of the actual sequences. Like, so when you see me step, right, come out to my Phoenix side salute for Chow Southern mantis, push it down. Right here, I'm in a chest pong, and I'll breathe in deep, and when you see me jump forward, I'm releasing the pong, and then when I come back up here, boom, boom, back into the pong. And this is where you really experience this if you're a Southern mantis practitioner. You'll know what I mean, where you're just boom. And then same thing, breathe into the chest, shoot down, release the pong, and I'll cover it more. I'm not going to do a tutorial like Bagua. It was just really important for me in that sequence. It's the best one I have to show you guys, you know, what exactly I'm doing there with all those turn. I mean, every time you see me turn, I wasn't just turning. I was going into a pung, out of a pung, reverse breathing up and down into a projectile. That's why it's called internal martial arts, guys. You're not just doing, you know, when it comes to Bagua, Xingyi, Taiji, you're not just doing a movement. You're doing all kinds of things with your body internally, with the pung, with the reverse breathing. Anyway, moving right back on into Gwut Gung. I'll talk about the pung more after I do the sequence. So you're pretty much in a pung the entire time for that. That is a Qigong technique, doing reverse breathing with the packing style as opposed to the toothpaste tube style. So so when you're seeing that, I'm in a pung the entire time. Everything I just did there, pung, standing. The only time I came out of the pung is when I pushed down and flexed all my muscles, because that's how you're supposed to, when you do that particular movement, you want to squeeze all that blood out of your body and get it into your limbs. And you're using your muscles to pull that blood out of your torso as much as you can anyway into your limbs. So you're squeezing it here and you're pulling it with your muscles. All right. It is getting blazingly hot and it's only gonna get worse. So the shirt's coming off. It is stupid hot here and I'm sweating like crazy. Moving right along to Sarm Bo Jin. I will explain the pungs after I do the sequence, just like I did the last one. So if you weren't already noticing where it was at, the Peng was, so starting from the beginning, it was Peng, breathe in, release the Peng. Breathe in, open, open, close the Peng, release. I messed that up really quick. After you go boom, boom, and you Peng, you keep pulling air into your lungs, more specifically into your back as you're going down. And as you hit the bottom point of the impact, just like the first one, you release the Peng, shoot your hands down. And here, again, Peng, you'll come up, you shoot, release. When you're here, you go into the Peng, breathe all the blood, squeeze all the blood out of your abdomen, pull it into your arms by flexing. And then when you step, you release the Peng, shoot forward, breathe into the stomach. And then at this point, I shoot forward and I'm not necessarily in a Peng. My shoulder blades are pressed fully against my back so that they can't have any give. And you just go through that sequence over and over again. Here I stay in a Peng, boom, because you're grabbing somebody, you don't want anybody to push you back. Boom, boom. Same thing here, and then when you come out of here, release the Peng, go down, and then it's the whole same thing. At the end, when you turn, you're doing the double phoenix eyes. It's out of the Peng, breathe into the chest, Peng a little bit, release, Peng, release, Peng, close. All right, so moving right along to the second Chow Garcella mantis form. Okay, so that one was the exact same. The Peng gets tricky here because when you're breathing here, right, and you're in the beginning of the sequence, here you're in a Peng. When you breathe all your blood, squeeze all your blood into your arms, you're still in a Peng. But then really quick, you release it to shoot and solidify this strike. But then you got to push the shoulder blade forward and drop again to get that finger strike. And you're not in a Peng, and you shouldn't be releasing. You should be pushing your shoulder blade into that while you're dropping, because it's a finger strike. You missed or need to follow through with your first strike. Boom, throat, or just short of the throat, bam, and then you get it. So you have to push that shoulder blade against. Like I said, it's a lot for finger striking. Anytime you're doing finger striking, your shoulder blade should be pressed against your back because you need full extension and full impact. You don't want anything. You don't want your fingers moving back. You don't want your shoulder moving back. You're going for soft targets like that, whether it's eyes, ST9, Philtrum, you'd obviously want to go more with like a hammer fist or a leopard strike. So, all right, let's keep moving along. Moving right on to white crane. So this one's actually really easy because once you get into the basic form and you're here, you're in a Peng. Once you squeeze all the blood in your arms, you release the Peng, right? And this one you're going to toothpaste out. Again, pull the blood into your arms as you squeeze. So you breathe in, squeeze, breathe out, squeeze. When you breathe out, squeeze, you're making sure none of the blood drops in your abdomen and you're pulling it into your muscles at the same time. But you should be Peng, release, Peng, Peng, stay in the Peng, release. And you're shooting that whip and solidifying your base as you do. And it's also adding to your pullback. Because when you're doing whipping strikes like that, you want to, when you're doing them with your whole body, you want to stay in the Peng and release the last second to get the blood pressure into your arms. But when you're doing this style, you want to release and drop it to solidify the base. And dropping your base is going to add to that whipping power of that strike in your white crane. But let's get right into it. And if I missed anything that comes to me in the sequence, I will mention it afterwards. All right, I think this looks about right. All right, I think I messed that ending up. Yeah, I did one too many palm strikes, whipping palm strikes. I'll do redos at the end. I am, like I said, it's pretty blazing hot here today. It was pretty cool the past few weeks, but it's starting to hit summer here, and it is a freaking desert here in West Southern California. All right, so moving into the Shan He Quan, or fan crane strike. Now for these, it's all a pung release, pung release, pung release. You know, you come here, pung, release, pung, release, pung. This one, you're actually using your body to bow open the pung, release, and then boom, boom, boom. As you're coming down, you're gonna pung and then release. But every time you release your pung, make sure you drop your center of gravity a little bit, because it's not only good for rooting the base, but also as you're getting that projection, it'll help solidify you as you're striking. All right, let's go right into it. Shan He Quan, fan crane striking. I need space for this one, I forgot about that. All right. Whew. It is stinking hot today. Next, Baji Quan and Baji Quan, then Wing Chun. All right. So let's see how the new camera does over here. I gotta move for Baji Quan. Up. Move that out of the way. Good grief. This is going to be tricky. I think it'll work, though. Let me think. Yeah, it should be right. Whew, that's energetic. Yeah, it turned out better than I thought. This camera is not as clean as I was hoping it would be. I can see the faster movements getting lost, but I will try to do better. I'll probably go back to the cell phone next week, depending on how this one turns out. Okay. All right. On to some Wing Chun. So, Wing Chun, obviously, when you're doing stuff right, let me see. Well, first let me cover Baji Quan. Baji Quan, when you're doing the explosive stuff, let me go through it real quick in my head. Yeah, you're going Peng, release. Never done this one before. Boom. Peng, release. Peng, release. Peng, strike, release. Peng, 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 release. Same thing here. Peng, release. Come up, turn, boom, boom. So yeah, there's lots of penging and releasing in Baji Quan too. I never thought about it before, so I do it kind of second nature. But yeah, this is a sequence I just did. I'm moving right along to Wing Chun. With Wing Chun being a more southern external system, you do use your internal as well. But when you're doing things like, when you're doing your chewies, you don't want it to come back. So the Peng in Wing Chun is more about keeping the shoulder blade pressed against the back so you don't have any give here. Just like when you're doing your Sil Lum Tao and you're coming here. Boom. You're practicing every joint, including the shoulder, but your shoulder blade should still be slightly pressed. When you get all the way back, it's not as tight. But once you get to here, you should be pushing your shoulder blade against your back, going for that strike. Same thing with your chewies. When you're shooting your chewies, your shoulder blade should stay pressed against your back to avoid any shoulder blade movement upon impact. You want to make sure you're projecting your power. Right. So, yeah, I'll go right into Sil Lum Tao though. It is stupid hot today. Okay, so I was wrong about that. When you're doing your child projects, it's moving 3 times. So when you're here, boom, boom, you do have your shoulder joint coming in, but it's everything collapsing uniformly, and your shoulder blade should still be pressed against your back. So you're not releasing that shoulder blade press as you're coming in with that first slow pak sao, fuk sao. You're obviously pushing really hard the shoulder blade into the back, but you should be maintaining it the whole time. So the entire Sil Lum Tao, your shoulder blades should stay firmly, but not forcibly pressed against your back. All right, because once I got to here, boom, 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 it's hard when you're going behind yourself to keep the shoulder blades. And also at that point, you kind of want to go back a little bit to keep your shoulder joint going in the direction that you're striking. But everything else in front of me was shoulder blade to the front. Okay. Whew. Man. Tea break. I need to clean up this space. I never had to show this much of it before. It's training stuff and whatnot. Cleaning stuff and whatnot. Whatever. Okay. Chum Kil. I'm just glad you guys can see the whole sequence though, so I'll have to find a happy medium because the only thing I don't like about this camera is it's cutting my head off right there. And it's showing most of my feet, but I don't know. It's hard to get it exactly where I want it. Okie dokie. Chum Kil. No space here. Boom, 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 boom. Yep, plenty of space. All right. I messed that one up. What was it? Going that way. So it was the, nope, other way. Yeah. What did I mess up? This one. 1, 2, 3. Yep. All right. Tea break. Sweating all over the place, man. I ain't gonna do no bagua later. You sticking to the floor. Where's my drying utensil? It is a slow night. That's a good thing or a bad thing. Yeah, I could not get a good demo earlier of the chest pump, but there's a better one about, I don't know, I think 5 or 10 minutes in. All right, moving right along to Bil Jee. Bil Jee. Let me get back a little bit. Maybe you'll be able to see the whole thing this time with the wide lens. Okie dokie. Tea break. Then I'll move on to weapons. Actually, I'm gonna mess around with this for a second. I'm taking a quick break. Don't see. It's on. don't see any chats. That's pretty cool. Yeah. I enabled subscribers only to chat. Looks like it eliminated the troll problem. So I'll just do that from now on instead of turning off chats for here. So if you're a subscriber, you can talk to me while I'm doing live videos. If you're not, keep your trolling to yourself. Ha! Or subscribe to my channel and do it next time. All right. Quick tea break, then on to weapons. Ooh, it is stinking warm. Okay. Weapons and Peng. I gotta think about that one. That's kind of tricky. Well, not really. You're not gonna do so much Peng and release as you would with the internal styles. When you're doing weapons, though, you obviously do want your shoulder blade pressed against your back a little bit because the fact that the weapon is an extension of your limb, just like when you strike, you don't want any pushback into your shoulder blade. You want to impact and keep all the impact moving forward. Same thing with the weapon. So you're going to want not to be in a full Peng or doing full Peng and releases, but you do want your shoulder blades pressed against your back while you're doing weapons to make sure you don't lose any kinetic force in the movement. Alrighty. So let's get right into it. How much space do I need? That's pretty good. Cool stuff. Oh yeah. So if you do Filipino martial arts and you're doing the irons and the sticks like I am, use your butterfly swords to warm up for the irons, then cool off to the sticks because these are not as heavy as the irons, but it's a really good warm up for doing your grip training and hand strengthening for your sword swinging or stick swinging, knife swinging, whatever you're doing. I'm doing 3 levels of weights now. These are my middleweight. Irons are my heavyweights. The sticks are my lightweights. All right, so let's see. Which way did I go earlier in the week? I think I went left. So I'll go right now. So, all right, let me just jump right into the drills. There's tutorials for all this stuff. If this is your first video you're watching on live or replay, there's tutorials in all this stick and knife and iron swinging for, I believe it's in the first 2 live episodes with this type of episode. So it's the 2nd and 4th episode would have good tutorials. You don't got to watch the whole thing. Just go watch the 2nd and 4th episode of live Friday classes. Fast forward until you see me with swords in my hand or sticks or irons in my hand, and then just watch that tutorial and just get out of it whatever you're looking for. You don't got to do the whole thing. But even if you're just doing knife stuff, anything at all, if you got to grab something to defend yourself, make sure you have that grip strength to defend yourself and get away from however many attackers. All right, so what I say, I'm going to the right this time. Cool. All right, so that means I start this way. All right. Single sword. Other hand. Cooking. Okay. Messed up a little bit there, but that's my lefty, so, you know, whatever. Okay. To the irons. Which way am I going? That way. Okay. Ow. My left hand's bumping. So if you notice, I messed up there a little bit and I went the right way for the first 2 rounds, went left for the 3rd round. But one thing I always used to teach my students, and that anybody should do, is when you're doing any type of patterns, sequences, shadow boxing, when you make a mistake, you have to keep going. You always want to train your brain the way you're going to train yourself to fight. So if you're doing a sequence and like you saw me make a mistake and just keep going, you want your brain to do just like that. I think I made another mistake in Bagua and Xing Yi. No, not Xing Yi. What was that? Chum Kil for Wing Chun. You just got to keep going. You know, don't train your brain to notice those mistakes and be like, oh, I got to start over. Oh, I got to start over. There is no start over in a fight. There should be no start over in your training. I think what I messed up before, I messed up the white crane Qing Quan sequence. So at the end, I'll do that again. But I didn't let it stop me. Like I stopped to think for a second, but I didn't let it like stop me in the sequence. You just keep going, and you train your brain to always do that. And you hope that if you ever have to defend your life or a group of people or somebody else's life, you hope that you don't hesitate when you make a mistake and you just keep rolling, All right. Anyway, all right, let's keep going. Speaking of which. Okay, other hand. On the sticks. This camera's not as good as my phone, so I know it's not going to catch any of this. These gloves are almost toast. All right. Pardon me, go to the right. Other hand. Whew. Okay. That is the end of weapons. How much time am I up to? Yeah, I'll probably go back to my phone camera after this. I don't think people like the widescreen. Still fun to do once, even if it wasn't my best work. You know, I'd almost say all this is just testing for, I've got, let me think, this is class 6, 7, 8, 9. So there's only be one more class after this, and that's going to be advanced reverse breathing in 2 weeks. Then 2 weeks after that, I'm going to start teaching all these sequences from scratch, a sequence each week. So these live classes will keep going on for, I think I estimated it was like 4 or 5 months. So if you have any interest in learning all these sequences you see me do every week, I'll be teaching them one at a time as opposed to doing all of them. But right now I'm just doing all of them to practice the things I'm teaching you and how to teach them. So you can always hit me up here in comments. I almost always respond to my questions and comments. If you ever want to know more about this, if you're trolling me, I'll just like block you and report you. It doesn't really matter to me. And moving on to Tai Chi. Let me do my quick Tai Chi setup, and then we'll move right along. Okay, very quick tea break. Then back to Z Kung Fu. Let me dry out first and then mop the floor. Yeah, I want to do Bagua again after all this. And then I'll go back and probably goof around a bit. Throw on some tunes. Hopefully it's not copyrighted. At least not to a degree that I can't use it. I'll just trim it if it is. All right, come on. You can do it. That was fun though, by the way. Being able to demo the whole thing. I'll probably at least come back on here. When I teach the sequences in whole, I'll probably come back on here too, on the widescreen. Yeah, at least for the stuff that I need space for, like the Bagua, Chum Kil, Bil Jee, what else? Baji Quan. I wonder if I can do Baji Quan in this small space. I'm going to try that one more time too. I'm probably going to goof around tonight. It's been pretty slow on views and likes. So, you know, in that case, I'm probably just going to goof around for a bit when I'm done. All right. Tai Chi. For those who don't know, World Tai Chi Day just passed last weekend. I do like this camera that it's not showing like so much glare and shade anymore. Like I do like it for that reason. But otherwise it's pretty brutal. Let me see how much space do I need. If I get it, if I can knock that light out. It's not bad actually. It's pretty cool. Where's the light at? Let me see where it's at. There's the light. Let's get under the light so less glare. That's pretty cool. I mean, when I'm here, you're not going to be able to see everything. You can see my feet. So let's come up just a little bit and let's see how bad the glare is. I mean, my body's going to be covering the glare when I'm here anyway, so the glare is only going to be when I'm over here. Oh, good God, that's bad. Yeah, we'll see how bad it is. Yeah, like I said, this is a test run for this new camera, so whatever. I don't care. I don't care. All right, so yeah, I don't know how I feel about the wide angle camera. I'll go into the other room, get better lighting to explain the Tai Chi Peng. So Tai Chi, when it comes to Peng, I found just in doing a sequence then and doing it all week, I found that the chest Peng in Tai Chi is very similar to the way you do it in Wing Chun, where you want your shoulder blade always pressed against your back. And you're only really doing the Peng if you were doing something. Let me just go through the sequence real quick. So here should be slight Peng here, you'd be Peng, release. But when you're releasing your Peng in Tai Chi or the neijia styles, you still want your shoulder blade pressed. You don't want to release your shoulder blades at the same time, because here you want that forward projection, boom, but you are releasing the chest Peng. Because if you're doing the strike, you want to get that extra spring into your arm, boom. You want your chest, your sternum to spring back so it can spring forward into that while you're shifting your weight forward. Same thing here, Peng, release, Peng, release. What else? Especially when you're doing the arm break, all right? So especially when you're here, you definitely want to be in a Peng because you want to get that extra force into the upper motion and the break here at the same time. Peng, release, because you want your body to do some of the motion. You don't want to use just your arms. You want your body to act as a spring and help you break that limb. What else? Yeah, Peng, release. When I do these, if you ever notice, I'll open up and then let my body open up a little bit more. Boom, same thing here. Come up, Peng, release. But open the whole body when you do that one. Same thing here, just like in Bagua, Peng, your whole body, release your whole body at the same time. Open your groin and shift as you're opening that Peng. Peng, release. Same thing with the arm break after that. Peng, release. Peng, release. I think that's it. So I just got a little bit of Xing Yi Quan to do here. Xing Yi Quan is where you really get into seeing the Peng activate, because say like when you're doing Pi Chuan here, you should be in a Peng, and then as you release this, you're shifting down, forward, sinking, and opening your Peng. This is one of those ones where you're really going to do all your internal and external at the same time, right? Boom, you're in the Peng. Here, boom, you really want to shift all that blood into your limb while you're releasing the chest Peng at the same time. So when it comes to stuff like Pi Chuan and Xing Yi Quan, you really want to focus on that. So release here. So when you come up here for your chicken step, and then you come here, you should be going into a Peng, and you're releasing your whole body like a spring at the same time while pushing your blood into your hand. And that's really how the Peng works. I think Pi Chuan is the best example of this because you're coming up here and boom, 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 boom. Hold on a second, I'm messing something up here. All right, so that's a good way to think about it. So when you're going for your chicken step, right? Come up, breathe in as deep as you can. Breathe in a little more when you go for the Peng, and then let it all out. All right, same thing. Breathe in as your hand comes up. Reverse breath. Breathe in more, going for the Peng. Compress your chest. Same time. And like I said, this is one where you can really see your chest pushing your arm out. Okay. Next movement. This one, yeah, you can only do it with this side. If you try to cross it over, you don't get that same Peng effect. So I'll just do the one side for this. Yeah. So Xing gives you the best example. That's actually, that last one is a really good example of how to use your chest pong. Because you're stepping in, rise up, breathe in, pong the chest. And as you step out, you're launching your fist out, dropping your center mass, and using that chest spring to shoot your arm out at the same time. And that is a great example of how to use the pong. Sorry, I'm focusing too much on the pong lesson, and I know that that was probably not my best Xingyi demo ever, but I'll do the main sequence now. Let's cover the rest of the pungs though in that. So I covered Pi Chuan's pung, here, pung, drop, here, pung, drop, breathe in, breathe a little more, pung, drop it all. Second one was pretty simple. You're here, you pung, pull down, drop, pung, pull down, drop, pung, pull down, drop, right? Third one, pung, release, pung, release, pung, release, pung, release, pung, release, release, pung, pung, release. All right. Fourth one is pretty simple. Comes down, release. You're coming here. Pong, release, explode out. Let your chest open up as you explode out. This one's more exploding the block to expand, to expose their vital points. So if you're here, you're grabbing here, and when you release this pong, you're kind of projecting out while you're using this to fling their strike aside, bam, and then going for the face or the neck. And then same thing here. And let the pung, this is more like a deflection and a strike with the pung. So this one you're opening up and launching one, swinging the other into the block. What did I miss? Did I miss any of them? And again, I still think that the fifth one is probably my favorite because you're in that pung and you're just here, parrying that shot, and then boom, parrying the shot into a pung, drop, boom, and you just shoot it out like a cannon. All right, let's do the whole sequence. Back to Bagua Zhang, and I'm putting on some music and goofing around, man. I don't want to say I'm disappointed with this set, but I got, I think, my least amount of views ever in a live class with this. I don't like the widescreen. I like it that you can see the Bagua, the Chum Kil, Bil Jee, but everything else, not so much. Everything else you don't seem to be able to see better because it's cutting my head off when I get really close, whereas when I use the phone, it doesn't cut my head off right here, even whether I go lower or higher for recording. So I'll have to decide. This probably won't come back out, this widescreen, until I do the sequences and I'm teaching them. You know, when I teach Bagua Zhang, when I teach Chum Kil and Bil Jee on here, then I will pull the widescreen out. But everything else, I'm probably gonna go back to phone for. I really don't like this, and I don't think people like seeing it either. I know I would. I mean, I wouldn't care. I would just turn my phone sideways to watch it, but I think a lot of people just like to scroll or whatever. All right, let me stop talking and do my last sequence so I can play around and have some fun. All right, well, that's the end of this. So let me go through that sequence really quick. Boom, pung, release, pung, release, pung, release, pung, pung. And you're just at this point, that's really cool. I never thought about that. From here, you're using the flex in your sternum to deflect shots twice, and then releasing for the strike. Come down, pung, release, pung, release, pung, release, pung, release, pung, release, pung, release, pung, pung. And then it's the same thing over again as you just saw. Okay. So how would I make a statement here? Done sequences and main lesson. That's not how you spell that. Uh-oh, what I hit? I might even do them all again, man. Yeah, that's pretty brutal. That's not how you spell that either. Hey, look, I can make emojis. Woo! Anyway, I'm done goofing around. Okay. I mean, I'm not done goofing around. I'm just starting. Oh, man, it's late. I'm going to turn into a pumpkin. Okay. I've heard you Bagua. Dude, this floor is sticky. That's not safe. What's going on here? Stop. Dude, that's not fucking safe. That's not too bad. That's double. That's right. Double. Here. Right. 1, 2, 3. Step back to here. And then here. So, it was Gwut Gung. There's a bug. Gotta save the bug. Come on. Come over here. Oop. There you go. Oh no, that cost him my 2 viewers. Like I said, just moving around. What we got? What's next? I don't know this one. Whatever, let's go. One hour, 27 minutes. That's pretty funny. That's weird. This one. Yeah, I'm getting gas. It's just slow. I messed up the whole thing? I did, didn't I? Hey, you know what? I'm toast. I did everything almost twice. I'm checking out, guys. Yeah, I'm toast. I'm way past my bedtime. And we're almost 2 hours. Now I'm happy with what I did. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Seafood Joseph Singh out. Next week will be either Wu Qin Chi, 5 animals, Qigong, or 6 animals, Qigong from Qigong Wei Gong. I haven't decided yet. So next week will be Qigong. The following week will be advanced reverse breathing for Kung Fu. And then I'll start teaching the sequences 2 weeks after that. All right. Peace and blessings. Thanks for stopping by the Broken Buddha. Right.